Good morning, this is Vaughan in Nova Scotia at Westco Bell Pottery and Artworks. This morning I just wanted to do a brief video on my wife's artwork. Since we've done many pieces and videos in the past that show it briefly, we're going to do a little focus video. So this is the piece we're starting with. It's a 12-inch by 12-inch tile times 2 and they are painted underglazes with a clear glaze over the top in a frame. So that's barnwood from our building here in Nova Scotia when we re-sided the building. Here is another underglaze painted piece. This piece is actually a 16-inch square tile in a barnwood frame. Same underglazes with a clear glaze over the top and then the barnwood frame. Here's another piece. I think these were 15-inch square tiles, and this piece is also underglazes with a clear glaze over the top. And moving around the room, I'll skip all the other pieces and I'm just going to move to my wife's pieces. She has smaller pieces. Some of them the reflections will be really bad, but this is a small underglaze painted piece. Some more carved pieces here. So these are carved slips and underglazes. And then one at the top is hard to see. Now here is a different work that my wife does. And we'll spend a little time focusing on that one. These are collages where my wife prints papers using printing press and acrylic paints and inks, and she prints textured papers basically, which she then cuts up, not carves. She cuts them up and then collages with them, gluing them down onto another piece of paper and then painting over the top obviously and drawing into them as well. So there's acrylic paint, watercolor, gouache, many different types of applications using sponges, paintbrushes and textural items where she'll rub with pieces of paper sometimes. And here is a larger piece. Alright, let's move up the stairs. This one is a simpler collage, but it is the printed papers that using techniques I previously described. This is mixed media collage with painted and printed papers. See, she wrote on this piece what it was, so that applies to most of the pieces I'm showing here. I'm not sure when this will go out of focus, but here's another piece. There we go. All right. I've learnt my lesson not to rotate the iPad rather, because it goes from landscape to portrait mode, but that would be really strange on your TV screen, I think, or your computer screen. There's another underglaze painted piece in a barnwood frame. There's another carved piece with a clear glaze over the top using slips. Similarly, underglaze painted, some textural sponging. If you see anything in this video that you like, I can actually send you a real photograph of it. And the prices are on each piece, but I'm probably excluding that from the way I'm showing the picture. Some of them you might be able to see. This is a small version of one that we have right next to it, which is very large. Well, it's just down the wall a little bit. That's a large piece too. I think the frame is around 22 inches square. They're meant to sort of go as a diptych. Chair is slightly in the way of this one. And here is the large piece I just showed you a small version of. So if you see a piece that you like, as in previous virtual tours of the gallery, you can actually send me the minute and second that you saw the piece, and I'll know which one we're talking about from the video basically, and if you want it, I can mail it to you. The windows will get in the way of some of these. The light from the window will bleach out the image, I'm sure. It's a foggy, rainy day today in Nova Scotia, but we do need the rain. These pieces are carved tiles, where she carves a clay tile and then bisque fires it, and then just uses glazes to fill in the shapes on the tile. It's hard to control the glazes because they run in a kiln, so it's a very difficult way of using color. But she obviously does well. This is an underglaze, so that's a lot tighter to actually, and it's easier to control in a firing. This is an actual glaze, so these are the ones that run, so they're always a little bit more fluid. So I'm skipping a lot of my pieces because this is focusing on my wife's work. The reflections are really bad in this piece, so I can try, but It's hard with the reflections. Got a lot of lights in this building. It'll be a little better now, the colour will be less with the window in reflecting. I'm getting down on my knees to photograph that one. This is a very large tile piece. That's a gorgeous frame on that piece too. Once again, this is the carved tile with the glazes applied after the bisque firing. That's one of her platters. That's one of her painted jars. She just sold the largest of these ones. It went to Brooklyn, New York. Okay, well, I'm going to quickly walk downstairs because there was some on the way up that I missed. And this one is actually one of my personal favorites. There we go. So that was a focus on Jacqueline Cohen's paintings and ceramic tile paintings as well. So if you did see anything that you like, just send me an email with the actual moment and second number of the piece, and I can again send you a better photograph of it. Thanks for joining us. Bye bye.